Hey folks, welcome back to the Lone Pine Tarot. Today's pick a card reading was another topic suggested by the awesome at Oriole Arts, who so generously left many great reading topic ideas under a post beneath the community tab on my channel the other day. There are more reading topics coming from at Oriole Arts, but as always, that is open to everybody who ever wants to suggest readings. There is a post, like I said, underneath my community tab. I probably will post another one pretty soon just to kind of make it fresh and available and visible for everybody above my usual reminder posts of whenever a new reading is up, of course. Always feel free, never feel too shy to suggest a reading topic, just because not only does that help me help you guys more, it also just makes sure that the content on this channel is collaborative in a way, in that I'm doing topics that I know that at least some of you will enjoy, okay? So thanks again to at Oriole Arts. Of course, the pick a card reading topic today, as you can tell by the title, is a message from your person's higher self. So this reading is kind of an invitation to think of a person in mind that you really are kind of wondering what's on their mind, or generally like maybe there's a little bit of a mystery to them. You kind of want to know what they're thinking, etc. Doesn't have to be romantic, but it can be, of course. It can also just be someone that you're close to, or someone you're just kind of wondering about. And this message will be from their higher self, so kind of unweighed down by, the regular trappings of ego and societal expectations, etc. Kind of a more unfiltered, pure intentions type of message from their higher self is how I would describe that. So like I said, meditate a little bit, see if there's a person you have in mind that you're wondering you want kind of a message from their higher self from, and then we will pick our pile. So feel free to pause right here to do that, and then I will introduce the piles. Okay, so for my pile number ones, I have the Sheep and Blackberry with the subtitle Devotion. For my pile number twos, I have the Opossum and Peony with the subtitle Bashfulness. And for my pile number threes, I have the Antelope and Wheat with the subtitle Nourishment. So whenever you are ready and have chosen your pile, as always, the timestamps are down in both the description box and or the top pinned comment at the top of the comment section beneath the video. Feel free to click on that timestamp whenever you are ready, and I will see you in your reading about a message from your person, whoever you're thinking of, from their higher self. Bye. Hello, my lovely pile number ones. Welcome to your pick a card reading today that is all about a message from the person you're thinking of's higher self. So as you recall, the card used to pick your pile was number 5, the Sheep and Blackberry with Devotion as the subtitle. Get a very soft energy here. Likely a pretty close relationship, but we'll see what else pops out before I say anything conclusively. Okay. Set your pile leader to the left as always. And then I have 2 sets of tarot cards. One is going to be kind of generally part of the message, and then I have a set of tarot cards as advice on how to continue forward with this person towards the end. So I'm just going to set those 2 sets of tarot cards down here with me until the respective times. I will pull them out, of course. But first, let's look at your oracle cards. So your Dream Ritual Oracle deck had the card Immerse, okay? So getting lost in something, getting deep in with something, becoming kind of enfolded in some way. Okay. And then we have from the Pastoral Tarot, we have, the Lovers, okay. For most of you, I'm pretty sure this is a romantic relationship with the person that you're thinking of. Some of you, it could just be a very, very close platonic connection. It could be a really close friend you've had for a while. Someone you've just clicked with really quickly, it seems, or like deeply, I guess I should say, maybe not necessarily quickly. Yeah, it could also be something to do with a choice as another version or interpretation of the Lover, so we'll see what else pops out before I say anything conclusively, of course. Okay, and then we have your Vintage Wisdom. You received Hope. Hoping for something, okay. hoping for something. Okay. Let's see what that leads in 1 second. And then we have your Sacred Rebels, which is Collaborative Dreaming, number 28. Collaborative Dreaming. Working together on a dream. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting pretty deep closeness vibes here, pile ones. I think, like I said, because of your Lover's card, this is a pretty close connection of some sort. A lot of kinship, I guess, is what I would say, even if it's not romantic. But in general, just something very, I mean, especially too with your Immerse card here, something very, very deep. Something where there's a lot of, you know, even like your title, like your pile leader says, devotion, the lovers, immerse, hope, collaborative dreaming, working together, kind of immersed in each other in some way, very closely connected. I almost get, this almost feels like, you know, and I hesitate to say soulmate because I think those might be, at least in my personal opinion, might be rarer than society tends to think soulmates are. But I do get really strong soulmate vibes from this reading just because there's so much about like devotion and lovers and collaborative dreaming and immerse, like just very kind of, it's almost kind of like blending or meshing together is the imagery I'm being shown here. A lot of shared pieces of identity is almost how I would put it, but let's get your tarot cards down before I get too far in the weeds. Your tarot cards for the general message section of the reading are the Four of Pentacles. Okay, so maybe holding back in a way, though. It could be that maybe it's not, this relationship you have with this person isn't at its fullest blossom yet, because the Four of Pentacles is about holding tight to things or kind of keeping things close to your vest. Traditionally, it's almost like being a stingy card, like being stingy with money, hence, because Pentacles are usually like the material suit, they're of the earth, right? But this is, in this type of reading, I would interpret it more as, you know, kind of keeping things close, right? Okay. And then we have the Page of Swords, okay. Insight, exploring a new thought, maybe exploring a new step of this relationship is kind of one aspect of the Page of Swords. It's to do with mental energy, and the pages are almost kind of like apprentices of their suits. So it's like being new and learning a lot about something in terms of the mental realm, okay? And then we have the Fool reversed. Okay, so maybe a little bit of a fear of taking a risk, though. Because usually the Fool upright is about, like, you know, it's number 0 in the tarot deck, and the 0 means both the beginning and the end. It being, you know, a step in our lives. The Fool is, you know, we start as a fool with everything that we try that's new, right? You know, we're not sure about, you know, do we want to take the risk for something? Do we want to set out on that new journey, right? And then by the end, you know, being the 0 card, after the final card of the Major Arcana, which is the World, right? The end of a cycle of learning, we become the Fool again and we learn again. But reverse the Fool is about not being sure if we want to take that first step. That's how I would put that. So pile ones, I'm pretty sure, like I said, this is probably a romantic relationship you're looking at here, or at least there is some sort of romantic interest bubbling underneath, because of the Lover's card. And, you know, I'm not, those of you who have watched my videos before, you know I'm not the type of reader to automatically, like, jump on romance type readings, at least in terms of, you know, interpreting, you know, bias towards romance. But, you know, when I see the Lovers, it's pretty much a guarantee that there's some sort of romantic or at least very, very deep connection here with this person you're thinking of, pile ones. So, yeah. Deep connection, especially with the Lovers here, you know, like they're together on a boat, they're holding hands, it's very romantic, it looks like it's at the sunset, you know, you even have the 2 mallards here, or 2 ducks, which I believe mate for life. That's kind of why that soulmate energy was coming out, I think, pile number ones. You know, and like I said, too, like collaborative dreaming, devotion, this is, and immerse, too, and hope. If this is romantic for you, pile ones, there is a possibility here with this person for it being a deep, committed soulmate type connection. And like I said, I don't ever say that lightly. But that's generally the vibe I'm getting intuitively off of these cards. potentially, if you're not already in a romantic relationship with them, this has the potential to be something very deep and long-lasting and committed, is how I would put it, if this is romantic. If it is platonic, someone that you're thinking of, like I said, at the very least, it's like a deep connection. I am personally of the belief you can even be soulmates with someone who it's not even like a romantic relationship. It doesn't necessarily have to have romance involved, like I said, at least in my opinion, my beliefs, right? Because even without romance involved, you can click very closely with somebody. It's almost like having, the term like brother from another mother, right? Or sister from another mister is the other way of saying it, to add a corny saying just for a second there. But yeah, probably romance for most of you. So I guess, even if this person doesn't show it on the outside, though, I think most of the time with this intense of a connection, or at least the potential for this intense of a connection, right? Or this intensity of a connection, right? Even if they don't show it on the outside, even though I think they probably already have at least hinted a little bit because of the intensity, right? Like I was saying, there's deep inside, there is an inclination towards feeling very deeply for you, is how I would put it, okay? Completely devoted, or at least, if there were to be a relationship with this person, this would be complete devotion. It might even be that you've had past lives together as romantic lovers, even if you haven't been in this life necessarily. Just someone that you've gone on a lot of journeys with is how I would put that, in terms of, in my personal belief, like the reincarnation cycle, right? Being together with this person a lot over multiple lifetimes. Working together, maybe even with collaborative dreaming here, interpreting this as a message from their higher self, right? Maybe like they're even telling you that you've worked together in the past, or like between lives, I guess is how I would say, to collaborate on okay, what are we going to achieve together in this life? This is kind of what I'm seeing here. Almost like shards of the same mirror, or reflections of the same self. Like I get very intense vibes that way with this card. Like you almost kind of planned your life together this time. Maybe not always necessarily like to be together all the time or 100% of the time, but like in terms of goals, like you're like, it's almost kind of like, how do I put it? Like the imagery I'm being shown is like when you're sitting next to someone in, say, in like an art class, right? Sitting next to someone in an art class or some sort of creative class. And, metaphorically, this would be like planning out your lives together, next to each other, right? And you ask the other person, okay, what are you going to paint this time? And then they talk about it, and then you talk about what you're going to paint this time. But of course, like I said, this is a metaphor of like planning lives together, right? That's kind of the imagery I'm saying is, maybe even you are in art class together. But yeah, or you met in that way, learning together a lot. So yeah, what they're telling you, pile number ones here, I know I've so far kind of spoken it from my point of view as the reader here, but everything I've been saying is kind of the message coming from their higher self. Like I said, even if if this is a romantic type relationship, even if you aren't at that point yet, I think their higher self is pretty much saying that that's something that they would be interested in, or at least maybe that they're intending. I especially, though, with your hope card over here on the far right, I'm going to just pluck this out because it might be a little hard to see on camera with the space I have. Sometimes cards cover each other, This is the one thing that gives me pause into thinking that maybe it's not quite, a sealed deal yet, I guess is how I would put it, because it's something that they're hoping for. They're hoping for a relationship with you romantically, if that's something you're interested in, pile number ones. And like I said, once again, I don't say that lightly. But yeah, I'm definitely getting a lot of that deep soulmate, let's learn life together type vibes here. Maybe in kind of a soul calling here with the hope, like almost a familiarity, even, because of course every time you incarnate, you don't know the people from before your life, or like this particular life, because there's like the veil of forgetting, right? You forget kind of about before this life, at least, unless you kind of explore it in this life, of course. But a lot of times with those soulmate connections, I see a lot of that, like that familiarity with each other, like very comfortable with you. It's kind of like coming home together, I guess is how I would put it, with the familiarity comfort kind of line I was saying before. But yeah, also too, with the Four of Pentacles holding back a little bit, and the Fool reverse being a little bit afraid of taking a risk, not sure if we want to take that leap. I think they're just on the precipice of maybe wanting to explore something like this with you. I think they've been thinking about it a lot, hence your immerse card here. Or there, I guess I should say their immerse card, right? They've been thinking about it a lot, maybe dreaming about it a lot. I get kind of like, yeah, maybe daydreaming a bit, quite a bit about it, you know. But they're holding back a little bit, I feel. You know, and if you are currently in a romantic relationship with them, maybe they haven't quite expressed the extent of which they're connected to you yet, or that feeling. It could be that that's something on the horizon for you, pile number ones. And, you know, like I said, if this is a platonic relationship, not necessarily a romantic relationship, you know, it could be that perhaps they haven't had enough time yet to really express that deep connection to you. Of course, like, as humans, you know, sometimes it takes most of us a while to really admit to how much we kind of are emotionally attached to each other. Of course, it depends on the person. Some people are a little bit faster about it, but this person I can see is kind of holding back a little bit, either romantically or platonically, depending on your situation. And then, yeah, the Page of Swords, like I said, is like exploring a new way of thought. Like, oh, this new wind is picked up, and I kind of want to see where it carries me, but I do have a little bit of hesitation here, especially with the Four of Pentacles and the Fool reversed. Do I want to take that risk? I'm hoping, I'm daydreaming a lot. You know, I really think this could be a love relationship, or at least a really deep friendship or connection, but, you know, not so sure. Do I venture out on this boat, like, you know, kind of like the rabbit here on almost like the Viking longship, right? Do I venture out on this boat? Do I try, or, you know, do I kind of hold my cards close for a while and see? So we'll see what your advice cards say, pile number ones, but I'm already getting the sense that part of your advice might be, if you are romantically interested in this person, back to maybe let a little bit of that be known so that they have a go-ahead to maybe let go of a little bit of this Four of Pentacles and Fool reversed energy. Because I think deep down, based on these cards, they would also be heavily interested in a romantic relationship with you if that is something that you also want to pursue. Same thing, you know, too, if this is a platonic thing, you know, it's kind of like they're kind of hoping for that you feel just as, you know, you care about them just as much as they care about you, right? It's just maybe they're a little bit shy to say it yet, you know. Yeah. See if there's any other messages that pop out before I go to your advice cards here, pile number ones. Yeah, I get I get kind of soulmate, or at least you've had a lot of lives together vibes off of this. Yeah, I don't say that lightly, like I've said before, maybe, well, probably twice now. Sorry, I've been repeating a little bit, but yeah, soulmate, devoted, recognizing each other deep down. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, let's get to your advice cards, pile number ones, about how to go forward with this person based on the message that they're sending you from their higher self. So we have a little bit of reluctance here, but I think deep down they're hoping for something more, I guess is how I would summarize this reading right here, and also a lot of past life soulmate type connections here. Yeah, so let's go to your tarot cards of advice. We first up have the High Priestess. Okay, that's all about intuition, following your gut. I think deep down you kind of are getting an inkling that they probably feel the same way or something similar, or more than they're letting on, pile number ones. It's probably part of the reason why you clicked on this reading, right? There's something that deep down that you already know, that their advice to you from their higher self is saying, pay attention to that gut feeling about what you're thinking about me, I guess is how I would word it from their point of view, right? And then you have the Sun reversed, okay? More clarity. That can also mean, it can be the card of happiness, especially reversed. It can be like depression, but for this type of reading, I would read it as more clarity, because the sun brings clarity. It brings light to things. That's what I was saying before, where I said, oh, we're not quite at your advice point yet, but I get a feeling that probably part of that is going to be, you know, if you are interested in pursuing this with this person, pile number ones, I would recommend maybe giving them a little bit more of a hint, a little bit more clarity, because it seems like with all the other cards, they're hoping deep down that they do feel for you, right? That they do have a deeper connection with you than they're letting on. It's just that maybe they need a little bit of a go ahead to to feel comfortable coming forward with that is how I would put it. And then your next card is the Queen of Cups reversed. Okay. Yeah, maybe a little bit more openness with emotions is how I would read the Queen of Cups reversed in this reading pile ones. You know, a Queen of Cups upright is usually, you know, someone who is comfortable internally with their emotions. They know how to sit with them. They know how to process them, right? Reversed, it's asking you to lean into that more. You know, really define, you know, if you haven't thought about it yet, really define what your feelings are on this person, right? How do you feel for them? You know, do you see a romantic relationship future with them? You know, if this is a romantic thing that you're looking at, you know, same thing where if this is someone that you could potentially be, you know, best friends with the rest of your life, if this is a platonic connection, same thing, like, you know, how do you really feel about this person? And let that be known. So yeah, look deep down here with the High Priestess at how you really feel deep down inside about this person, hence the Queen of Cups reversed. And let it be more clear and more known here with the Sun reversed is how I would put that, okay? I'm also going to draw just one more tarot card for you of advice. Pile number 1. So let me reach back here for my tarot deck. I'm going to do one more shuffle off camera here, just so I don't mess up the pretty layout I have here. Alright, Spirit, can you give me one more card of advice from this person's higher self for pile number 1, please? One more card of advice. Flip out or stand out. Oh, okay. Didn't quite fall out. It's a little bit of a slippery deck, so, okay. I'm feeling this one right here. Okay, so, well, that technically came out reversed. Okay, so that is the Two of Cups reversed, alright? Two of Cups is typically around relationships, right? It's usually around, because the cups are like the water suit, the emotional suit, right? And then, of course, here, it's about our harmony with others. Reversed, I would say this is an inclination or like a piece of advice from their higher self. Yeah, like I said, relationship vibes everywhere. A piece of advice from their higher self to, how would I put it? To make, if you do have romantic intentions, pile number 1s, this is definitely another go-ahead, like the Sun reversed was, to let that be more known. Because I think right now maybe they're perceiving it as completely platonic, if this is a romantic thing you're looking at, right? They're perceiving it as completely platonic. They're not seeing like a relationship here, even though they do seem to kind of want one deep down, right? They just need that go-ahead from you to start turning those daydreams and that hoping into, okay, maybe there's something I can actually really pursue with this, and, you know, maybe they would be into me too. Same thing if this is a platonic relationship, pile number 1s, you know, let your interest in, you know, maybe a deeper friendship or a deeper connection be known. Because right now it seems like maybe they're, yeah, maybe you're both kind of shy about letting your feelings be known, pile 1s. And so you're both kind of like trying to, what's the word? Is it like sussing each other out? You're kind of trying to figure each other out, and you're like, well, I like them, but I don't know. I don't know if I got enough signs from them. And so it's kind of like you're both in that same pattern of trying to figure the other out. And so this message from their higher self is that you might kind of have to be the bold one, pile 1s, and let your feelings be known, because it could be that they're even more shy than you about this, and they want a go-ahead from you first before they go ahead and go, yeah, okay, actually deep down I've been thinking about this the whole entire time with, you know, the lovers and immerse and hope, you know, and devotion and, you know, collaborative dreaming, that type of thing. But I just needed the go-ahead from you to muster up the courage to come forward and be more clear about my intentions as well. So that's how I would put that, pile number 1s. See if there's any other messages here before I sign off with you. Okay. Yeah, like I said, most of you, this is the type of reading, I call it a hammer reading. There's so many indications that this is romantic, but of course, as a general reading, everyone's going to be a bit different. So if this is romantic for you, pile number 1s, I see a pretty glowing, sterling go-ahead to let your feelings be known, is how I would put it from their higher self, right? If this is like something platonic, of course, same thing, you know, let more of the way that you care about this person be known, you know, that type of thing. So pile number 1s, I hope that reading was helpful for you. As always, I wish to see you, or I hope to see you in the next reading, and I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Bye. Hello, my lovely pile number twos. Welcome to your pick a card reading today that is all about a message from your person's higher self. So as you recall, the card you used to pick your pile was the Opossum in Peony with the subtitle Bashfulness. Okay, so maybe a bit of shyness here as an energy in the reading with bashfulness, but before I read too much into it with all the other cards on the table, let's look at your other cards first. So I'm going to set your pile leader down here to the left like usual with most readings. Okay, and then I have two sets of tarot cards. I will read the first set, which is generally about like the message here in just a bit. And then I also have some tarot cards of advice from your person's higher self towards the end, so we'll pull those out a little bit later. But first, let's focus on your main cards. Your Oracle deck card from the Dream Ritual Oracle is what it's called, is Remember, okay? Remembering something. So maybe a bit of past energy, but we'll see. Or maybe they're remembering something about you. Let's see what else pops out. And then the Pastoral Tarot is the Queen of Cups. Likely a person who is very in tune with their emotions. Especially there with she's got like a seashell in her hand. Someone who kind of listens for the call of the ocean, not metaphorically speaking, you know, the call of their emotions, right? And then your vintage wisdom is love, okay? A lot of love energies in these readings today. Doesn't necessarily mean romantic, but that is an indicator towards this, perhaps for the majority of you being this, or this being a romantic relationship or romantic potential connection you're asking about for this person. Okay. That could also be deep platonic love too, so general reading, everyone's going to be a titch different. And then your Sacred Rebels is New Birth Guarded Vigilantly with number 24. Something a bit vulnerable or a bit new about it, okay. Alright, and then your first set of tarot cards we'll get down on the desk here. We have, let's see, the Two of Swords reversed, okay. Not sure how to make a choice, Not sure what path to take. The Four of Wands is the card of home. Happy family, happy home. Stability is another interpretation. And then we also have the Ace of Wands reversed. So either not sure what to do with a new spark of something or lacking a new spark of something, but we'll interpret everything together to get the clearer message. So, of course, as always, with limited space, some cards are covered. As I talk about each one, I'll make sure to hold them up more clearly so you can see them. And or you can always kind of rewind a little bit and pause as I held each one up. Yeah, so pile number twos. Remember, New Birth Guarded Vigilantly. I think, I want to make sure I say this the right way. When correct message, I guess, is a better way to put that. This is either a situation where someone, the person that you're thinking of, their higher self is saying that it was either that you had maybe just gotten into a deeper connection with, but it fizzled out quickly, or they're at the stage right now with you where they're just kind of exploring that spark, but they're not sure what to do with it yet, or they're not certain about the trajectory, I guess is how I would put it. And the reason I say that this might be more past energy is definitely because of your Remember card here. This almost feels like someone that was in your past a little bit more, maybe that you had tried a relationship with them or a friendship with them earlier and it didn't quite work out, but maybe there's been a new spark of something. Hence remember, like recalling older times. It could also be someone from childhood. It kind of gives me Six of Cups energy if you're familiar with the Six of Cups card from tarot. Something a bit nostalgic, something a bit either from the past or it's like the revisit to the past, I guess is how I would put it. That's kind of why I get that vibe, but it could also be how do I put that? That you remind them of something that they lost, in terms of, like, if this is a romantic relationship that you're looking at, or a potential one, it could be that you remind them of better times, I guess is how I would put it. Yeah. Like, not that you make them feel like a child so much, even though that kind of is like the feel of like the remember card to me, but it's like, I guess the better way to put that is like you make them feel younger again. That's how I would put it. You make them feel younger again, and also just that some past energy here, pile number two is, as a general reading, everyone's gonna be a bit different with that message as to whether or not that's more like literally this happened more in the past and they're remembering it now, or yeah, some past energy, of course. But new birth guarded vigilantly is interesting because that's more about a new development of something, or vulnerability with something. It's like something new that comes about, or that you feel like you have to protect. Yeah, and with love here, like I said, I think for most of you this is a romantic relationship, potentially, or it was at some point. And maybe you're just kind of out of the phase of the relationship right now. But definitely, if that's the case, then they're remembering it with your remember card. They're reflecting back on it, right? But yeah, someone who really follows their emotions deeply. With the Queen of Cups, this is kind of the card I pulled out to, I asked Spirit to kind of, or like their higher self, to, how would you describe yourself, or how would you describe this person's higher self, right? And the Queen of Cups came out. That's someone who knows their emotions internally, but maybe a bit of a sensitive person. Could also be more in tune with emotions. Sometimes I read the Queen of Cups as someone creative, even though that tends to be more of like a wand suit type thing, in my experience. But yeah, and then reading your tarot cards here, I think if this is past energy, pile twos, there was a spark between the two of you, and or some sort of like an intense initial interest here with the Ace of Wands reversed, but I think it flickered out a little bit just because of this Two of Swords here reversed. Normally upright it's about making a decision. Reversed it's like kind of more like a negative connotation with making a decision, like not sure how to go, not sure where to take this, not sure what to do with this energy, this new spark here. But I do see that it was something comfortable here with the Four of Wands, because that's like, you can see it's almost like a rabbit family. You know, they have all the carrots they need, they're all warm and comfortable. It's kind of a happy vibe, you know, celebratory card, right? Especially with even the banners in the background. So I think they felt at home with you, or they feel at home with you, pile number twos, but there's some sort of indecision here with what to do with a spark of something, okay? And so if this is romantic for you, it could be they're not sure, you know, do I be vulnerable here with my new birth guarded vigilantly? You know, maybe if this was explored in the past with your remember card and it's kind of coming up again as, you know, maybe potentially getting back together. You know, do I want to be vulnerable again? That type of thing, right? A lot of reflecting, a lot of, you know, where do I go with this decision? What do I do with this spark? You know, like from their point of view, I would say it's like, oh, well, I'm comfortable with pile number two, but I'm just not sure about how to go forward here with the two other cards. And hence that's kind of maybe why your pile leader had the subtitle Bashfulness, right, with your Opossum and Peony. You know, like, because opossums, I don't know if you're familiar with opossums, one of their defense mechanisms is that they play dead, right? So they'll literally stiffen up and they'll like drop over and they'll pretend that they're dead to thwart predators off, right? And that's kind of one of the reasons why their subtitle here with this oracle deck is Bashfulness, you know, kind of a shy creature, right? So maybe this person is almost kind of, why that came up is they're almost kind of like playing dead with you, like maybe they're acting not interested, maybe they're acting like things are over on their end in terms of the way that they feel about you, but it's almost like a facade, because I don't know if they're just like buying time to try to decide what they want to do, like hence like the hesitation with the decision here. But yeah, it's like they're almost kind of playing dead. They're kind of giving up a little bit of a facade with this, even though deep down it seems like there is some sort of, there's like a deep interest here with the love card from your Vintage Wisdom Oracle on the right here. Yeah, like playing dead and like, And you're sitting there probably like, well, you know, is this dead or not? Like, what's going on here? What's taking so long? What decision are, like, you know, are they, lots of confusion, right? You know, and then, but it's really that there's like a hesitance to be vulnerable deep down, or wanting to protect oneself, and not sure how to go forward, even though there is good feelings associated, or excuse me, are good feelings associated with you here with the Four of Wands, is how I would put that. Yeah. And then, yeah, that remember is interesting. Just something with past energy. You know, maybe that's why there is a hesitancy on their part. Pile number 2 is because, or that fear of being vulnerable is because, or it could even be, it wasn't that they were with you in the past, pile 2s. It could also be that they maybe have been burned a lot in the past, hence remember. Like, it's almost like the things that they're remembering are kind of part of the reason why there's this hesitancy on their end, why they might play dead a little bit, because they're playing it safe. Yeah, that's how I would put that. Like, something from their past is not, it's part of the reason why there's this indecision, right? Hesitancy, maybe an unwillingness to be vulnerable quite yet. Yeah. Maybe a lot of baggage in terms of like trusting others, or trusting to be open again with romantic relationships. You know, if this is a romantic thing, pile number 2s, it could also be, you know, if this is like a platonic relationship, maybe like, you know, you felt like, oh, this person would be like a good friend, right? But it's just maybe having a little bit of a hard time opening them up. Maybe they're a little standoffish because, you know, deep down, you know, like what their higher self is saying here, they've been burned in the past. And, you know, when people are burned, they have a hard time, or at least sometimes, or a lot of people do have a hard time trusting again, is how I would put that. So, yeah. Yeah, you have an opossum playing dead on your hands here. But they're not really dead deep down, right? Yeah. Let's see if there's any other messages here from your person's higher self. Also, too, here with new birth guarded vigilantly, there's almost a message, too, of wanting to go slow with it because they want to do things right, or the right way. Like, this card really speaks to me of gentleness, because not only does this figure have like a new sapling of like a plant in her lap, but she also has like I believe it's a Luna moth on her shoulder, right? Being very, very gentle with it. Like it says, new birth guarded vigilantly. Like, they want to be very, very tender and slow and careful about the way that they're going about this. Maybe another reason, like I said, because they've been burned in the past, could be another reason why, but also they want to be careful with you in a caring way. Yeah. But yeah, that indecision there is just holding them back a little bit. So if this is romantic and it's like someone who's kind of a new energy, pile number 2s, and you're wondering, like, you know, they seem to have interest at first, but maybe it kind of died out a little bit. You know, are they just playing dead? You know, like the opossum, or, you know, that type of thing. I'm seeing there is interest still deep down. It's just that there's something really just holding them back in some way. I think it's just a fear of vulnerability, and it's a fear of trusting, and it's a fear of being open about this, likely because of prior experiences with romantic relationships, or, you know, like I said, if this is platonic, you know, like a friendship of some sort, same kind of deal, where they're afraid to open up and be close to people, I guess is how I would put that. But they do feel good feelings with you here with the Four of Wands. This is the feeling of being at home or celebrating, right? So let's get to your advice cards, pile number 2s. We have the Queen of Pentacles reversed. Okay. Something about physical insecurity in terms of the material. Let's see what all the other cards say before I comment on that. And we have the Knight of Cups following the heart. Okay. And then we have the Ten of Cups reversed. Okay, so pile number 2s. You know, I always mention in my videos, I'm not trying to scare you off, but I also don't like to sugarcoat. I will say that usually when you do get the Ten of Cups reversed, that is not always the best sign for a romantic relationship, if this is what you're looking for with this person. I don't want to sugarcoat, but, you know, I'm just saying that there is a possibility that this might not turn into a romantic relationship if that's what you're looking for, and that's probably part of the reason why you got this in your advice section, right? You know, you can see a couple here normally upright, you know, embracing closely, right? They've got looks like an octopus tentacle around them, right? you know, comfortable in each other's company, even deep underwater, right? But reversed, it's like some sort of disharmony or lack of connection there. And then the Knight of Cups is about following your heart. You know, this person is navigating the stars or the sea on with Ursa Major up here, which is it's like the bigger version of the constellation of the Big Dipper. Following the heart, following where the stars take you, right? And then the Queen of Pentacles reversed, like I said when it popped out, is a lack of internal material security. So I guess as advice, pile number 2 is what I would say is, like I said, I don't like to sugarcoat, even though I hate delivering a possible negative outcome if this is something you're really looking forward to, right? But if this is romantic, I would say just don't ride or die on this working out romantically. Keep doing you. Just you doing you, right? With the Knight of Cups here, keep following your heart. You know, keep going where your heart takes you. Keep following your own passions. Keep following whatever it is goal you have in life right now. You know, kind of keep sailing by your own stars is how I would put that. Don't necessarily wait in the wings for this person if you're looking for a relationship because of the Ten of Cups reversed. Because right now, this advice from their higher self is saying, pile number 2 is, I don't have the internal physical security to admit or give you what you want right now. Okay. If this is like a potential romantic relationship question, right? Or person that you're talking about or that you're asking about, I guess I should say. Yeah. Yeah, and if this is like a current romantic relationship that you're already in, let's see here. Yeah, I would just say focus on yourself right now. Until this other person is able to provide you more of this security that you're looking for in terms of like this Queen of Pentacles reversed here. Yeah, there's a lot of focus on self with the Knight of Cups, of following your own heart, following your own stars, because at least right now, because of this internal insecurity, there's a Ten of Cups reversed, which is not a happily ever after currently. Of course, with tarot, the trajectory of things can always change, so this isn't set in stone. But like I said, with my readings, you know, as much as I hate maybe delivering a potential negative outcome, I don't like to sugarcoat either. And any tarot reader will tell you the Ten of Cups reversed is, at least in a relationship reading, not always the best sign. So I just want to, you know, word that kindly, of course. Yeah, so just focus on yourself, focus on your own dreams, focus on what's guiding you in life. It could be that this person, you know, is able to overcome their vulnerability issue or their trust issue, and then they'll be able to finally be secure enough to approach you or pursue this with you more. If this is romantic, same thing, you know, if it is like a platonic relationship, same thing with their friendship too, you know, just kind of keep doing your own thing. And let them come to you, I guess, is a really good summary for this particular part of advice. Okay. Yeah. You know, and a lot of times, you know, when we just focus on our own growth and our own goals, we shine that much even brighter, and it can lure people to overcome even things like insecurity and, you know, an inability to be vulnerable, because your light is shining so brightly that they can't resist but follow. So I think that might be part of the reason why you're being encouraged to kind of just follow your own heart here with the Knight of Cups. Okay, follow where the sails take you based on, you know, your own goals in life. And it is potential. There is a potential for this Ten of Cups reversed to turn into, you know, a happily ever after upright Ten of Cups. But yeah, just for now, that's how I would interpret these cards of advice for you from their higher self. So, you know, I don't get the sense that their higher self is necessarily happy about this, you know, especially if this is a romantic relationship, because I do think they do want something deep down, because you did get the love card, or they got the love card earlier here. And there is something about, you know, here with your Four of Wands earlier was about feeling at home with you. It's just, there's something really holding them back from going ahead with it, you know. Or like, even if you're already in a relationship with this person and the question is, you know, will they take the next step with me, right? You know, wherever that step might be in your relationship. Yeah, just keep shining on as you do and keep going on as you do. You know, and if they come along for the ride, great. If they don't, then, you know, they're lost, right? So pile number 2 is I hope that reading was helpful for you. As always, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Bye. Hello, my lovely pile number 3s. Welcome to your pick a card reading today that is all about a message from your person's higher self. So as you recall, the card you used to pick your pile was the Antelope and Wheat with the subtitle Nourishment. Okay. Getting some messages about that. Before I say anything, I do want to get your other cards on the table just to get the full picture. So we'll set your pile leader over here on the left for now. And then let's first look at your oracle cards. I do have some tarot cards. At the very end, I have tarot cards of advice. I'm just going to set those down here with me until that moment. Then I also have some other tarot cards that are part of the message from your person's higher self. I'm just going to set those down here as well for now too. So oracle cards, right? From your dream ritual oracle, you received barrier. Okay, so looks like there might be a little bit of a barrier somewhere in this relationship. Like I said in the intro, this could be romantic or a platonic relationship with this person you're asking about, but some sort of barrier, okay. And then I asked them to describe themselves with the Pastoral Tarot. I did get the Four of Swords for them. Someone pretty relaxed and laid back. Someone sleeping in the hay, okay. And then your Vintage Wisdom Oracle, you received change, okay. So there might be a little bit of change in the wind here with this relationship of this person you're asking about. Change in the wind. A lot of autumn vibes off this, like, you know, the leaves falling, right? Autumn is all about change. And then your Sacred Rebels Oracle is faith in the process. Praying for something. Faith in the process. Okay. And then let's get out your first set of tarot cards here that are about the message from this person's higher self to you. You received the King of Cups. Okay. The Lovers reversed. All right. And the Six of Wands. Okay, let me look at these and see what messages are popping out. Pile number 3s. So like I said with your barrier card here, I'm just going to lift these cards up so you can see it a little bit clearer for a second. With your barrier card here, right? Right away, let me backtrack a little bit. Part of the intuitive messages I was getting with the Antelope and Wheat over here, your pile leader with Nourishment, is that there was something going on regarding your relationship with this person where there isn't, it's either a basic need is not being met on one end, or there's some sort of part of this relationship, either romantic or platonic, that's not being nourished, okay? And I say that because with wheat, you know, wheat is, I mean, like many of the other father grains of the earth, very, very important staple of the cuisine and, you know, the basic feeding of society, right? Along with things like rice and, you know, barley, etc. But wheat is, you know, the most prominent example. That's what we make bread out of, right, is wheat most of the time. Hence the Nourishment subtitle. There's something in this relationship that, especially here with the Lovers reversed, I don't necessarily always like to give slightly negative messages, but I also don't like to sugarcoat. People who watch my other readings also understand that too. But the Lovers reversed here, if this is a romantic thing you're looking at, pile number 3 is not always necessarily a good sign for this relationship. But things can always change. I always say that with tarot. Tarot is just a snapshot of the future on the current path, right? It is not always set in stone and things can be changed. But like I said, you know, I don't want to, if this is a romantic relationship you're asking about, you know, I will word things as gently as I can, but I also, with Lovers reversed, I don't want to give a false reading and say that that's a positive sign, I guess is how I would put it. But okay, so pile number 3s. Yeah, this person is kind of laid back with this relationship with you, hence the Four of Swords. This person is kind of like laying in the hay, they're resting in the barn. I don't know if maybe if this has been a relationship you've been in with for a while. They've gotten kind of comfortable, which can be a good thing, right? You want to be comfortable with each other, but it could be if this is more of a new relationship on the horizon you're looking at, either platonic or romantic, right? Maybe they're getting a little bit too comfortable. Maybe they're not putting as much energy forward as you are into this, Four of Swords is all about rest, right? And then also you got the barrier card here from the Dream Ritual Oracle, which is there's some sort of blockage here. Yeah, and then that, like I said, combined with your change card and the Lovers reversed here, there's a little bit of a negative outcome here, at least on the potential path right now with this relationship, because of these cards I'm seeing here. Yeah, let's see if there's any other messages here. So the King of Cups is about being emotionally, externally calm with things, being composed. And then the Six of Wands is about victory. So I think they're getting what they want from this relationship, pile number threes. Like, they're satisfied with it. Either, like I said, could be romantic or platonic, could be, a potential partner, could be a friend, etc. But there's not there's not an alignment here deep down with the Lovers reversed. And I think, like I said, that's because there's like a barrier here, and they're either too comfortable, or they're maybe not, they're almost kind of sleeping on your advances if this is more of a new energy coming in. But they are getting what they want out of it, I think, because of the Six of Wands, which is the card of victory, right? Being successful in some way. Maybe emotionally, externally, they're seeming more calm, hence the King of Cups here. But there is some kind of disconnect deep down. And faith in the process here, I see, it could either represent you as someone that is really hoping and praying that this is going to work out, that things will change for the better, right? Maybe that's also why change came out over here with your Vintage Wisdom Oracle. You're hoping for change. You're hoping that this is going to work out. You're hoping that barrier will lift here. If it's romantic, maybe there's been a little bit of a bump in the relationship. If it's a potential romantic relationship, maybe you're hoping they'll change and either, come back, or they'll start a relationship with you, etc. A lot of hoping, a lot of praying for it, right? Hence faith in the process. But it could also represent the higher self of this person telling you that, kind of like with the Six of Wands here, there's a sort of contentment, like, oh, well, I have faith that this will just kind of go smoothly, but they're not inputting a lot of active energy into it here with the Four of Swords. I don't necessarily see it as them acting this way because of malice or any way. It's more just like they're not quite paying attention in the way that they should, hence the Four of Swords, right? That rest, that faith in the process of, oh, we'll just keep wheeling along as I am here in my red wagon with faith in the process, right? And maybe on their end, they're hoping that even just going the way that they've been going will lead to change too. It might not just be change that you're wanting on your end with this person, right? But there is that disconnect here with the Lovers reversed. The Lovers can also mean a choice. It doesn't necessarily always mean a romantic relationship. So reversed, it can be symbolic of not being able to make a choice, even though I tend to see that more with the Two of Swords with tarot. So it could be that too. Maybe they're, you're kind of waiting on this person and you're like, okay, what decision are you going to make? And they're just kind of sleeping on giving you a final answer with the Four of Swords, right? Yeah, so I think they're getting what they want out of the relationship with the Six of Wands. And the King of Cups too is also just being, outwardly emotionally content, but I would say there either needs to be a change in the relationship, if this is an existing one, to remove that barrier, is what their higher self is telling you. Or it could just be that the change too is at least on the path both of you are on right now, there is change coming with this relationship, is how I would put that. So yeah, I don't, like I said, I always hate giving more negative messages, but I also don't want to interpret dishonestly. So That's what I'm seeing here with these particular cards, pile number 3s. I want to see if there's any other messages that pop out before I get to your advice cards from their higher self. So, I mean, their higher self is fully admitting, here, pile number 3s, that, you know, they're, how do I put it? They're not necessarily putting in the effort or the same energy that you are, right? It's almost like their higher self knows that they should be putting in more with you, right? But there's some barrier there. There's some, almost kind of resting on the laurels, feeling like, like, oh, I'll just kind of sleep on this. I don't really need to put the, I don't want to say not put the, well, it kind of is like not putting the effort in. Yeah. Yeah. They're not giving you, with the bread example, getting back to your antelope and wheat over here on the left, your pile leader, they're not putting in the basic bread needed to sustain and nurture this relationship with you, pile number 3s, I guess is how I would put that. So, yeah, anything else here? 1 second, please. Yeah, and I think here with your owl, pile number 3s, I think you're already kind of getting, on top of the change card, you're already kind of getting a sense that there's some change in the wind, because the owl is all about, wisdom is the symbolism, that the owl represents, right? It represents wisdom. It represents, Athena, the great goddess of wisdom, right? Kind of like already feeling change in the wind. I think that might be one of the reasons why you came to this reading, is because you're kind of wondering, like, is this person going to, it could be a question of, are they going to commit to me, one-on-one? Are they going to, come forward with feelings that are a little bit more than just, casual flirting, could be one interpretation. If you're currently in a relationship, you're wondering if maybe they're going to change, right? There's some sort of gut instinct, I think, that you already have deep down, pile number 3s, about what's going on. So I would say definitely to trust your gut instinct with this, right? And like I said, things can always change. Tarot is just a snapshot of the future or the present. At the time the reading is done, things can always change. Of course, when advice is taken into account, right? The path can actually, like, we have, free will, there's change, right? But change is possible off this path. But as of right now with this reading, yeah, there's a barrier. So, okay, let's get to your advice cards, pile number 3s. You received the 8 of Cups. Okay. Yep. Okay. And then we have the Tower reversed. Oh boy. Okay. And the 2 of Pentacles. Okay, so from their higher self, pile 3s, yeah, I'm sorry so many negative cards are coming out. I don't like delivering, necessarily negative messages, but I will say, in a relationship reading, the 8 of Cups is often about emotionally moving on. Okay, so this is advice to you from their higher self, pile number 3s. Especially, like I said, you already maybe even getting a gut feeling about this. A part of the advice is the 8 of Cups is to emotionally move on. The traditional depiction of this card in the Rider-Waite-Smith, like the original by, Pixie, Pamela Coleman Smith is her name, is someone walking away with 8 cups trailing behind them off into the distance, right? They're emotionally moving on because, the cup suit is water, emotions, etc., feelings. So one piece of advice is to emotionally move on, at least with the way things are going right now. The Tower reversed is, okay, so normally upright, the Tower is about a disaster of some sort. It's about, something falling down that was almost kind of doomed to fall down, right? Reversed, though, the energy of the Tower is about something that needs to come down that hasn't come down yet. So it's almost kind of like something that's still standing on I would say, almost kind of like shaky legs, but it's not quite at the part of falling apart yet because there's something kind of still holding it up. But the main message of the Tower, though, is the reason why it falls down is because it wasn't necessarily built on good foundations in the first place. And the positive aspect of the Tower, because of that deeper meaning of it, is when something falls down, there is an opportunity to rebuild again something even better with a less shakier foundation, is the Tower in a nutshell, right? So reversed as a piece of advice is, you know, especially like deep down in your gut, if you've already been kind of feeling this barrier and this lack of effort on the other person's end with this relationship, pile 3 is, you know, this lack of change that you've maybe been looking for. Maybe you need a little bit more nurturing on their end, more care on their end, right? This is definitely a go ahead to let the tower fall. I mean, like I said, I don't like giving negative messages, or, you know, this is just guidance, you know. Everything is in your own hands, but, you know, especially if you're really resonating with this reading so far, that is to let the tower fall down, is what the tower reverse means, for a healthier result in the end, you know, especially next to the 8 of Cups in a relationship reading, emotionally moving on, letting it fall. The 2 of Pentacles over here is interesting. The 2 of Pentacles is about balance. It could also be a piece of advice to look for more balance here. Maybe at least, you know, if you have been kind of seeing some signs that this might not work out already, like I'm getting the sense here with the other cards, you know, try to look for maybe the other person involved, you know, to put more effort and to bring more balance here. But it can also be an indication here, to find more balance in your own life, you know, maybe especially if this is a relationship that you've already kind of been getting, you know, a little bit icky feelings about so far. You know, look for a relationship that does offer better balance in terms of what you're looking for from the other person, right? You know, if this person maybe isn't really emotionally committing to you, if that's the situation, you know, look for someone who will commit to you, right? Because you do deserve what you're looking for. I'm seeing here with the 2 of Pentacles about that balance, right? The balance in the material, the things that we're looking for, right? But yeah, I would say this is from their higher self. They're almost kind of admitting that, you know, it's okay to emotionally move on, especially if you've already been getting the sense of that tower falling, right? Yeah. Let's see if there's any other messages. I also want to get one more tarot card out here for you for advice. Pile number 3 is just because, like I said, I don't like delivering potentially negative outcome messages, but I want to interpret faithfully, right? So, pile number 3 is spirit, the higher self of their person. Could you give me one more card of advice for them, please, about this relationship? Could be romantic or platonic. Okay. All right, Page of Swords. Yeah, so Page of Swords, pages are like the apprentices of their suit. They're learning. They are exploratory phases. The swords are the mental suit of air, right? Communication. I would say, as this is a piece of advice, is to maybe kind of already start exploring. If you've already kind of seen the writing on the wall, I'm seeing, here's what I'm saying. Start exploring mentally this next step of emotionally moving on. Let me see if anything else pops out. Sorry, I'm hesitating a little bit just because I want to make sure I say things correctly in the best way possible, right? Let's see with the 2 of Pentacles too. Yeah, look mentally. Okay, so kind of look over this relationship. Pile number 3 or potential relationship. Could also be another as a generating, everyone's going to be a bit different. It could be another version of this depending on who is viewing this, right? Yeah, start mentally exploring emotionally moving on, is kind of like what I said before. Start mentally exploring, you know, what kind of foundations is this potential relationship or this relationship built on, you know, kind of it's almost with the Page of Swords and the 8 of Cups being together, it's almost kind of like a detachment sort of piece of advice. Because sometimes when we're, you know, it's really hard to emotionally detach, especially in a relationship, pile number 3, right, or a potential relationship. But a lot of times when we're able to think of things in a more, or in a less emotionally tied way, it's easier to kind of see things clearer, is how I would put it, right? Yeah. So yeah, try to see, you know, where you've already kind of had insights into this. That's another interpretation of the Page of Swords too, insight, right? Yeah, exploring a new thought. So yeah, to summarize, pile number 3, like I said, I'm sorry that this reading came out a bit more negative, but Generally what I'm seeing, though, is there's some sort of energy from the person you're asking about who is maybe putting up a barrier, or they're not necessarily putting all the energy in that they need to sustain this relationship. And the reason why is because they're getting everything that they like or that they want from the relationship, hence the Six of Wands earlier in the King of Cups, right? But it's not conducive to a healthy relationship with you in terms of what you were looking for, I guess is how I would put that, right? So I would say, change is kind of on the wind here with the change card, or if you're hoping for change from them, especially with faith in the process, it's almost like you're praying and hoping this will work out, right? Your advice from their higher self here is maybe to start, at least if you've already kind of gotten an inkling, right, that this might not work out, to start mentally exploring with the Page of Swords, emotionally moving on, letting the tower fall, so to speak, metaphorically, and looking for more balance in life. And especially, like, if this is a romantic relationship, the next time you look for a partner, if this does, maybe unfortunately come to an end, right, to look for someone that does provide more balance in the values in a relationship that you're looking for, is how I would put that. So yeah. All right, well, pile number 3 is, I hope that reading was helpful for you. As always, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next reading.